Okay, let's unpack this. You've handed us some really interesting source material here, looking at two big names in email marketing. Brevo, they used to be Send and Blue, right? And of course, the giant Mailchimp.
Yeah, exactly. And these sources, they really give us a good look under the hood. So our mission today in this deep dive is basically to sift through all this, pull out the key takeaways, the stuff that really matters for someone like you who needs to get informed quickly without getting totally bogged down.
Right. We're aiming to cut through the noise. And the central question that keeps popping up in this material is, well, how do these two platforms really compare? What are their strengths, their weaknesses, especially when you look at, say, pricing features and who they're actually best for?
And one thing jumps out right away, a really fundamental difference in how they charge you. It changes everything depending on how you run your email. Brevo, their pricing is mainly based on how many emails you actually send.
Okay, percent. That sounds pretty straightforward.
It is, yeah. But then you have Mailchimp. They charge based on the total number of contacts you have. And this is key. It includes contacts who are inactive, maybe unsubscribed, people you can't even email.
Wait, hang on. MailChimp charges for contacts you can't email or haven't even confirmed yet. That sounds like it could get pretty pricey if your list isn't super clean.
Oh, it absolutely can. That single difference, paying per send versus paying per contact, active or not, it creates totally different cost scenarios. It really depends on your sending habits, your list management. It's like the foundational thing these sources keep coming back to. Let's dive into that first because, yeah, it really drives the whole comparison.
Okay, so pricing models. Brevo sends. How does that work out in practice for a user?
Well, with Brevo's model, if you send pretty consistently, your costs are predictable. And crucially, it can be a lot cheaper if you got a big contact list, but maybe you don't email everyone all that often. You're just paying for the emails that actually go out the door.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're not sort of penalized for building a big audience if you only reach out strategically.
Exactly. Now, the potential downside mentioned is hitting your sending limit. Maybe if you have a big campaign launch or something, that could
Right.
pause things. But the sources do say Brevo tries to be helpful. They warn you. Offer options like buying extra credits or renewing your plan early. And actually, on their free plan, if you hit the daily limit, the emails don't just disappear. They get requeued, apparently, and sent over the next few days. Plus, they have that pay-as-you-go option too. Credits don't expire, and you get starter features. Pretty flexible.
That requeue thing is kind of neat on the free plan. Avoids losing sends. Okay, so MailChimp's contact model. What's the big impact there?
Like we said, it can get expensive fast as your list grows because you pay for every single contact. So keeping a large list, even segments you rarely touch or, those unsubscribed, it directly bumps up your bill. It really only works well if you have a smaller, super engaged list you email very, very often.
Right, so say I'm building a blog list. It gets to 10,000 people eventually, but I only send maybe one newsletter a week. MailChimp could cost me way more than Brevo, where I'd just pay for those, 4 cents a month to the active folks?
That's precisely it. The sources pretty consistently frame Brevo as the more budget-friendly option overall, especially for users with lots of contacts but maybe lower sending frequency, or if you need those pro features but you're on a tighter budget. Mailchimp, yeah, the cost ramps up pretty steeply on the paid plans as your list size increases. One source even hinted that, since the Intuit acquisition, maybe their pricing and free plan have become a bit less generous than they used to be.
Okay, that pricing difference is huge. Clearly the headline forces you to think list size and send frequency immediately. But okay, beyond cost, what do you actually get? How do the free plans compare based on what these sources say?
Okay, free plans. Brevo gives you unlimited contacts, which sounds amazing. But there's that strict 300 emails per day limit. The real standout on Brevo's free plan, though, is the features they pack in. You get CRM stuff, marketing automation, though it's limited to campaigns targeting up to 2,000 contacts, web tracking, transactional emails, forms, even basic e-commerce plugins like WooCommerce or Shopify, all free.
Unlimited contacts is tempting, but yeah, 300 emails a day feels like you could hit that super quickly, even as a small operation.
It does. And one source definitely flags that daily limit as making the free plan less useful for, big newsletter sends, despite the unlimited contacts. But they also stress the value of getting things like automation and CRM included, which Mailchimp definitely makes you pay for. Mailchimp's free plan, capped at 500 contacts and only 1,000 emails per month. And feature-wise, it's much more basic, no automation workflows, no email scheduling, and support, only for the first 30 days.
So Brevo Free is like getting the fancy tools but with a tight daily leash, while Mailchimp Free is more basic overall but maybe less restrictive on when you send your smaller monthly allowance.
That's a pretty good summary. Okay, moving on to the paid plans. Brevo's first paid tier, starter, is like $9 a month for 5,000 emails. That gets rid of the daily limit, adds some basic reporting, email support, and you can pay a bit extra to remove their logo. Automation is still capped at 2,000 contacts per campaign there. Mailchimp's equivalent, Essentials, starts around $13 a month, but that's just for 500 contacts. And like we said, that price climbs fast with more contacts. Essentials gives you more templates, some email testing features, but still no A/B testing or real automation. Oh, and Brevo gives a 10% discount if you pay annually. A little thing, but it adds up.
Right, so Brevo starts cheaper, tied to send volume. Mailchimp starts a bit higher, tied to contacts, and scales up quicker with list size. That matches the core pricing idea.
Exactly. Then you go up a level. Brevo's business plan, starting at $18 a month for 5,000 emails, scales up to 1,000,000 sends or more. This is where Brevo really unlocks the good stuff. Unlimited automation, proper A/B testing, better reporting, send time optimization, Facebook ad stuff, landing pages, and phone support. Mailchimp's standard plan starts around $20 for 500 contacts, gets much pricier with list growth. It adds automation, yeah, but for the really advanced segmentation, reporting, multivariate testing, you're usually looking at their higher, more expensive tiers.
And for the really big fish, they both have enterprise options.
Yep, both do custom pricing for large businesses. Enhanced security, dedicated support, all the advanced bells and whistles. One source mentioned Mailchimp Premium starts somewhere north of $350 a month, targeting huge lists. Brevo Enterprise has similar high-end features, like sub-account management.
Okay, that paints the picture of the tiers. Now let's get specific. Feature by feature, what do the sources say? Ease of use, the email editor first. Who makes it less painful to build emails?
This one seems pretty much a wash, actually. Sources often called it a tie, or noted really minor differences. Both have good drag-and-drop editors. The setup process is pretty clear. Mailchimp gets praise for its easy-to-navigate backend. Good for beginners, maybe. Brevo is also seen as user-friendly. One source said finding stuff like the sender email was slightly easier. Seems like it mostly comes down to personal taste, honestly. Both are solid.
Good. No major headaches there. What about templates? Enough design help to get going.
Mailchimp boasts over 100 responsive templates, but that's on the paid plans. Lots of choice there. Brevo offers 47, also responsive, but crucially, they're included on all plans, even free. Though if you want to remove the Brevo branding, that's an extra cost on paid plans. So again, sources kind of called it a tie Mailchimp for quantity and design focus, Brevo for making templates accessible to everyone.
Interesting trade-off. Quality and quantity versus basic access. Now, list management. This has got to be where Mailchimp's contact pricing really makes a difference, right?
Oh, absolutely. And the sources give Brevo a clear win here. Brevo lets you have unlimited contacts without paying per head, which is massive. Their segmentation is flexible based on behavior, demographics, whatever. You can do lead scoring. People can be on multiple lists. Blocking contacts is easy. Mailchimp, because every contact costs money, makes list growth itself expensive. Their whole audience structure, where lists are separate silos, is apparently confusing. And the terminology audiences, segments, tags, groups, people find it a bit messy.
So Brevo's just much more flexible and, well, cheaper for actually managing contacts, especially larger lists. Feels like a big point. How about marketing automation? Building those customer journeys.
Another area where Brevo seems to pull ahead according to these sources. They offer really powerful workflow automation based on all sorts of triggers, contact data, email clicks, website visits, e-commerce actions. What really seems to set Brevo apart here is the built-in cross-channel stuff. SMS, WhatsApp, push notifications right within the same workflow. That's pretty advanced for the price point without needing extra tools. Unlimited automation kicks in on their business plan. Free and Starter have limits on contacts and automated campaigns. Mailchimp has automation, triggers, templates, but you need a paid plan, and it generally lacks that native multi-channel capability.
That built-in cross-channel bit for Brevo sounds pretty powerful. Okay, what about getting leads in the first place? Sign-up forms and landing pages?
This one's a bit more of a mixed bag, but the sources seem to lean towards Mailchimp overall. Mailchimp's forms are apparently easy to design, give you some basic analytics, though finding where to actually build them is tricky, and you only get one pop-up per audience. Brevo's forms, similar builder, you can subscribe people to multiple lists, add CCAPTCHA, but no built-in analytics, and you have to manually embed the code on your site, which is less smooth. Landing pages. Mailchimp's builder is free with paid plans, easy to use, unlimited pages, integrates tracking, but maybe fewer templates. Brevo's landing page builder. You need a business or enterprise plan, you get more templates, but you're limited to just 5 pages unless you pay for more. So, yeah, Mailchimp's ease of use, basic analytics, and having the LP builder included free on paid plans probably gives it the edge here for most.
Okay, so Mailchimp might be simpler for those initial lead capture tools, especially landing pages if you're paying anyway. What about CRM? Managing customer relationships beyond just email lists.
Brevo wins this one, hands down. They offer a free CRM on every plan, and it's apparently pretty solid. Contact management, assigning tasks, deadlines, tracking web visits, even a visual deal pipeline for sales. Mailchimp says it has CRM, but the sources suggest it's more like an enhanced contact database focused on marketing data, maybe some social profile info at extra cost, but lacking those dedicated sales pipeline features.
Yeah, a proper free CRM built in. That's a huge value add from Brevo, especially if sales and marketing need to work together. Okay, transactional emails, order confirmations, password resets, that sort of thing.
Another clear win for Brevo. Transactional emails are just part of their main platform, included on all plans, within that 300-day limit on free. If you need more volume, they have separate integrated tiers starting around $15 a month for 20K emails. Mailchimp treats transactional emails as a completely separate product, an extra cost on top of your main plan. Source mentioned like $20 for 25K sends.
Right, so Brevo, it's included or an integrated add-on. Mailchimp, separate bill entirely. Big difference. And SMS marketing, text messages.
Brevo takes this one too. You can run SMS campaigns on any plan. Just buy credits. It's flexible, works worldwide, and they're doing WhatsApp campaigns now too. Mailchimp's SMS is much more restricted only for specific things like e-commerce notifications or appointment reminders. And crucially, it only works in the US.
Brevo definitely seems to be leaning into that broader multi-channel communication thing more than Mailchimp, at least natively. How about the hot topic, AI features?
Brevo's seen as leading here as well, especially on Access. Their AI email builder helps with subject lines, body copy, CTAs, even tweaking tone or translating that's available even on the free plan. Their predictive send time optimization using AI to figure out the best time for each individual contact. That's on the business plan. Mailchimp's AI, Intuit Assist, is on paid plans, helps with content and templates, but its send time optimization is apparently less precise, more for the whole list, not individuals. So yeah, Brevo gets points for free access and seemingly smarter predictive features.
Interesting. Brevo seems strong on a lot of these newer feature fronts, automation, multi-channel, AI. But sending is only half the battle. What about knowing what worked? Reporting and analytics.
Now this is where Mailchimp really flexes its muscles and gets the win. Mailchimp's reporting is consistently described as comprehensive and much more user-friendly. Detailed reports on opens, clicks, location, social stuff, Google Analytics link up, conversion tracking, deep e-commerce insights, all in nice visual dashboards. Brevo has the standard metrics, geo-device tracking, conversion data if you integrate it, but the reports are seen as less intuitive, advanced analytics need higher tiers, and they apparently lack detail, like on A/B test results.
So Mailchimp gives you a much clearer, deeper dive into campaign performance. That's huge for anyone serious about optimizing. What about the absolute foundation, deliverability, actually getting into the inbox?
The most critical part, right? And based on testing averages cited in one source, Mailchimp generally shows higher and more consistent deliverability rates. They averaged around 92.6% in those tests, compared to Brevo's average of 74.7%, though Brevo was noted as improving. Mailchimp provides the standard authentication support, list compliance help. Brevo has an authentication wizard, a basic dashboard, but apparently lacks built-in list cleaning or more advanced deliverability checks. So purely based on those test numbers, Mailchimp seems to have the edge for consistency in hitting the inbox.
Wow, yeah, that deliverability difference is pretty significant based on those figures. Okay, integrations. Connecting to all the other software you use.
Mailchimp wins this one pretty easily. Their long history and market share mean they have a huge ecosystem, over 300 direct integrations. Shopify, WooCommerce, WordPress, Zapier, pretty much everything, especially strong in e-commerce. Plus a well-documented API. Brevo has over 150 integrations, covers a lot of ground, connects to Zapier too, but its network just isn't as vast or mature as Mailchimp's yet.
Right, so if your tech stack is already complex, Mailchimp's more likely to just plug right in. Last big category, customer support. Who helps you when you're stuck?
This one was a bit divided in the sources. Some called it a tie, others gave Mailchimp a slight edge. Mailchimp's live support email and chat. You only get that on paid plans, essentials, and up. Phone support is only for their top premium tier. They do offer paid onboarding help too. Brevo, on the other hand, gets props for offering unlimited email support on all plans, even free. Phone and chat come in on the higher tiers, plus dedicated managers for enterprise. Some users found Mailchimp chat slow, others found Brevo email responsive. So the slight edge might go to Mailchimp for the variety of support if you pay for higher tiers, but Brevo's free email support is a big plus for accessibility.
Got it. Brevo's more accessible baseline support. Mailchimp has more premium options if you pay. Depends on your needs and budget. And finally, thinking long-term, scalability. Which platform grows better with your business?
The sources tend to give Brevo the edge here, mostly because of that send volume pricing. As your contact list grows, Brevo's costs are tied more directly to your actual email activity, not just the size of your database. That can feel more predictable and manageable for growth. Mailchimp's contact-based model can become a significant escalating cost as your list expands, potentially feeling restrictive. So Brevo's model is often seen as more scalable for many businesses.
Wow, okay, that was a really detailed run through. We've hit everything from the core pricing split to the nitty-gritty on AI and deliverability. So let's bring it all together for you, the listener. Based on all this, who do these sources suggest is the right choice for you?
Yeah, the main thing is really matching the strengths to what you specifically need. Brevo shines, according to this material, with its advanced automation, especially that cross-channel capability SMS, WhatsApp. Its affordability is a huge factor, especially if you have many contacts but don't send tons of emails. The free CRM is a big value add, same with the integrated transactional emails and the more accessible AI, Mailchimp. Its strengths are really in ease of use, that landing page builder being free on paid plans, the super comprehensive reporting and analytics, that massive list of integrations, and generally more consistent deliverability scores.
So let's think about specific scenarios. If I'm maybe a startup or a nonprofit, perhaps focused on building a sales pipeline, and I need powerful features, but I'm watching the budget.
The sources point pretty strongly towards Brevo in that case. It's consistently called out as cheaper for high-contact, moderate-send scenarios. It bundles in key tools like the CRM and transactional email, and gives you powerful automation without necessarily needing the top-tier plans.
Okay. And what if I'm, say, an established e-commerce store? I've got a complex tech stack already. Maybe I send a lot of emails to a really engaged list.
Then Mailchimp often gets the nod. If you need that deep e-commerce reporting, rely heavily on lots of different software integrations. Really prioritize that consistent high deliverability, and you're okay with the contact-based pricing, especially if you are sending frequently to most of your list. Mailchimp is positioned as that robust, all-in-one solution that integrates smoothly.
It's really striking how that initial pricing difference just echoes through everything else, isn't it? It fundamentally changes the value proposition for different types of users.
It absolutely does. And I think what this deep dive really highlights is that, while Mailchimp has the massive brand recognition, Brevo is presented here as a really serious, feature-packed competitor. It offers compelling value, especially for certain types of businesses where Mailchimp's pricing just doesn't make sense.
It definitely gives you food for thought about the future, too. As both platforms keep evolving, more AI, maybe more channels, potential pricing tweaks. Exactly. What does that mean for you trying to choose today? Is Brevo's focus on multi-channel automation and value going to keep challenging Mailchimp's dominance and huge integration network? Or will Mailchimp's brand power, slick interface, and ecosystem keep it as the go-to for most people?
It's definitely a space to watch. So for you listening, maybe the biggest takeaway isn't that one platform is just flat out better. It's that they offer genuinely different approaches, starting right from how they bill you. The best way to choose, it really comes down to looking at your own situation first, your current list size, how often you actually send emails, what your budget looks like, and which specific features are absolutely critical for hitting your goals. Measuring those needs against the distinct profiles of Brevo and Mailchimp that we've explored from these sources, that's how you'll find the platform that truly fits.